Hey y'all, good morning. How are you doing today? Oh, it's a very good day, very beautiful day in this season. And I'm so excited to be with you today. I'm super excited because today is a great day. Yeah. So it's always a great day for me and for every one of us listening this morning. So how you doing? How's your day been? How did you have take the week and all stuff? Have you been taking charge of your day and your week? Yeah, I'm here again on Grief to Grace, and today we have a very interesting topic, and we have a very interesting guest in the house. Oh, when I saw the guest, I'm like, whoa, how did you do it? Yes, it is one of those things that we have been trying to do. A lot of people just want to do it, but they've not been able to get to that goal that they want to get to. But somebody is able to do that and is ready to share his journey on his transformation. So today you welcome to Grief to Grace, where we take you from where you are to where you want to be on a transformative journey of being stuck to being unstuck. So, I'm your host, Ruth Epsiba, and today I'm honored as you've joined me today. And I want to say thank you for joining me. And as I always ask you on this platform, how are you doing today? How is your day? How are you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you're fine. Hope you had a great day. So it goes beyond just saying, I'm fine. Critically, you need to look inward and be sure, okay, I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm happy. I'm amazed. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I'm scared. You know, just say the way it is. So, you're welcome again to Grief to Grace. Here, Grief to Grace, our mission is to help you um, and all who are wrestling with grief. So we help you in your pain, in your life's toughest challenges, and we help you find healing and restoration. So whether it is the loss of a loved one or personal trauma, or you struggling with some feelings that are insurmountable, or um, whatever you're going through right now, whether you're a child, an adult, or whoever you are, wherever you are, you lost a job. I don't know what you're going through, but I know that is a great day. And most importantly, a lot of us are struggling with our identity. So we've lost our identity. We grieve our identity. So, and that is another aspect of grief. And that's one of the aspects we're looking at today. So, whatever you're going through, Grief to Grace International, we are here to help you. So, this is a space where we turn grief into grace and also into triumph. So, all of your pains will help you get it into developing great purpose for your life and discovering that which God has called you to do. Before we delve into today's incredible conversation, we want to introduce to you again our book, A Pen That Writes Grief. Yes, this book is that book you need in this journey. I tell you, it is a guide, a 60-day guide that will help you in this journey. Whatever you're going through, maybe you want a fresh start, don't worry, we're here to help you. Okay? So, when you go through this book, you have interventions, a lot of interventions right here where you can use in your journey every day. So it talks about navigating grief. It has other stuff like how you can find compassion for yourself and for others, and it covers meaning and purpose amidst loss. It helps you to practice self care and also nourish your well being and embrace hope and possibility of joy. And every day of this book offers you a short reflection to guide you through your thoughts and emotions, and also a comforting message for solace and strength. So it is an actionable step that you need to take all the time to encourage your healing and your growth. And also, we encourage a lot of journaling. With this book, you'll be able to do a lot of journaling. So thank you for joining us again on Grief to Grace. And if you need help or you need to talk to somebody, remember that Ruth Hepzibah, I'm here. I'm always there to help at whatever stage that you're at. So, how are you today? Great. So, if you're looking for guidance in your grief journey, like I said, check this book out and also check out our website on Grief to Grace International dot org. So that way you'll be able to find resources that can help you in your journey. Stay tuned to the end of this episode. I tell you, especially if you're struggling with weight loss, you don't know how to go about your weight. You don't know how to go about losing those stubborn fat, like I want to lose those stubborn fat, you know. So if you don't know how to lose it, you need to stay to the end of this, because we have a guest who lost 600 pounds. And that's why we have Justin, who lost 600 pounds. That is a lot. It's so difficult to lose 30, 10, 5. And he was determined and he was able to lose 600 pounds. It shows a lot of discipline. And today I have the honor to bring up Justin Willoughby. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, so Justin's story is one story that you need to hear, because Justin lost 600 pounds. At the age of 16, he was given a grim diagnosis, weighing in at 799 pounds, and he was at death's door, battling with depression, anxiety, and food addiction. But Justin didn't give up. No. And today, he is 600 pounds lighter and free from the chains of addiction, anxiety, and depression. So now he's a motivation speaker, he's an author, a podcaster, and health and wellness coach. So dedicating his life to inspire others to take their lives back. Someone approached me and was like, "You need Justin on your show." And I said, "Yes," and send me the link. And today he is here. So you're welcome, Justin. I'm so glad to have you here on my show. How are you doing?
Ruth, it's so good to be here. When you asked me, I was like, any opportunity that I have, I certainly want to share the hope with other
Yeah.
people. So thank you
Thank
for
you
having
so
me today.
much. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, the next voice you're going to hear is the voice of Justin's, and he will share with us how. So, Justin, your journey is one of resilience and hope. So, can you share with us how you made that pivotal decision to choose life and how you overcame not only the physical weight but also the emotional and all the mental burdens that comes with it? So how did you go through all of this?
Yeah. So just I mean, I could probably talk about this for all day, but we'll keep it as brief as possible to really for time's sake. But at one point in my life, I think it was roughly 16 years old, 14 years old. I developed anxiety and panic attack disorder to where it literally crippled me into a space in my life to where it held me in captivity to myself. It was crippling, and I just fell victim and prey to it. So I would be scared of anything I felt in my body, be it my heart was racing, I would get chest pains, thought I was dying. All those things started adding up in my mind, and then robbed me from just experiencing life, right? To rob me from experiencing the fullness of life that I needed to live. Unfortunately, anxiety and panic attack disorder started this process of me all of a sudden maximizing or going to food. Food was my crutch. It was that thing I went to really to appease everything in me, right? So I got like this hair going on over here. It's distracting. But food would be that thing I would go to that would help me overcome the anxiety, overcome the panic attacks, overcome the depression. I was in a space in my life where that was my only friend. And so I would go to it and I would feel good, and then I'd feel low again. I would go to back to it again because it made me feel good. Then I'd feel low again, right? It's that constant cycle, but it would help me cope. I was on anxiety medications. I was on panic attack medications, right, to help really get over those and cope with those. But honestly, it's more like a band-aid over the wound. It wasn't healing from within. And so there was something different I had to do to get past that. Well, as I was having anxiety and I was having a big food addiction, what happens from there is simple. It's simple math. Anxiety and a lot of food creates a big weight gain. I know when I had the anxiety pretty bad, I would sit on a consistent basis because I thought I was dying. So sitting obviously make things better, right? If I sat, my heart wouldn't race. If I sat, I could breathe, things like that. So I didn't expend the energy that I was using or that I was taking in, and therefore I ballooned up. And you can see this guy over here, right? You can see how this is a picture of me when I used to weigh, and this wasn't my biggest. This was just a picture somebody took of me out of nowhere. If you're looking at that picture now, I wasn't expecting that. And they said, smile. And I didn't smile. I never wanted my picture taken at that size. Um, but I did balloon up from being, a young man to all of a sudden I'm morbidly obese. And it was only a 2-year process. So now I have this, at this point, 16 years old, and I'm really, really large, right? So I end up having to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which was where a children's hospital was at in Pennsylvania, because I lived in Pennsylvania at that point, and they want to take me to the nearest children's hospital that could help me because they knew I was large. So they took me down by ambulance, and it's like a 3.5 hour drive, and it was very miserable. Oh my goodness! And then they set me in the bed, weighed me in. And my mom told me the weight. She said, honey, you know how much you weigh? And I said, no. And she said, you weigh 799 pounds. And I was like,
Hmm.
whoa. Whoa, right? And you look at that, and you can look at that as that's a hopeless thing. You can look at it like it's like, what do I do from here? And I'm very much paraphrasing the story. There's so much that goes into this, and there's more ways to figure, I can explain that, but I just want to keep us for time's sake, try to simplify the story so you get the gist of what's going on. I ballooned up so large, I had to go to a hospital. They took me, in there, weighed me 799, huge amount of weight for anyone, especially a young person. And then what do you think's going on in my head? Like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, am I going to live? Am I going to die? Like, what's happening here? Right. And I didn't know. But at that point, there was a difference in who I was. Now at 14, 2 years previous, right? Let's go back to 14. I had a slight belief in something higher power wise, right? I was explained, there's a God, and Justin, he loves you. I said, okay. So then I started really seeking that out. And I did that, and I found that Jesus was that answer. Now, I didn't follow 100%, right? 14 on, but I was a young man. Like, I knew everything, right? I need that help. I'm good. And I remember just kind of putting it on the sideline, like, doesn't really matter. But the belief stuck with me in some capacity. And I remember at 16 when I was in the hospital, I remember having a Bible with me. And I remember at that point in my life, I remember that, you know, my life, the way I'm living life isn't working. If there is this development of faith happening in my life, and Jesus, I need you to take over. I need you to help me through this. So I turned my from my way of living to a new way of living, and that was found through God, through Jesus. That changed my life, and my perspective on life really changed from that moment on, and I saw things differently. Now, as a kid, you don't recognize that stuff, right? You're like, okay, whatever. But I did understand that something changed within me. There was now a value system that was placed in my heart, and I was growing in that, developing that. There was things happening in my spirit. I felt that, and there was healing taking place. So then that's what really helped me, really just helped me heal from the anxiety and depression, was my faith, and then taking the action steps necessary, doing what's necessary to get through that. I mean, it's not easy going through the trenches dealing with your stuff. It isn't. Everybody's got to do that though if you want to recover. And so I developed, different methods to help me get healthier, to help me get mentally healthier. I dropped as time went on over an 8 to 9 year period. I dropped about 600 pounds, and from 799, it put me around 200. And then my life just got different from there. I was now more confident. I now felt like, I want to go on to assist others and show them you don't have to stay stuck in obesity. You don't have to stay stuck in anxiety. You don't have to stay stuck in depression. There's a way out of food addiction. There's a way out of depression, a way out of anxiety. You don't have to be that guy to my right over here. Okay. You can be someone different. You can be set free. And so I believe in that. And I help people walk through that freedom process. I encourage them, inspire them, and of course, equip them, whatever's necessary to get them through. So, how I overcame my grief, how I overcame my issues in life, my food addiction, and also my anxiety is simply A, faith, and B, natural approaches to becoming a healthier me. And once you do that, all of a sudden, things are just different.
Hmm, that's awesome. Wow. I was just looking at everything because I'm looking, staring like on your photo, and I'm like, wow, how did he manage? So I'm trying to imagine how you felt, when other people, when they look at you, what do people think? How did you feel when people don't want to associate with you?
Yeah, man. When I tell you, when I was, I'll take its different spins on this, right? Like when I was a young man and I was getting large, things were just, people could be judgmental. We know that, right? We know that people can look at that and say, what's going on? Boy, he has a problem. I would get laughed at by kids. I would get snarky comments made to me by adults, and I'll tell you, it definitely took a toll on my mental health and how I perceived myself as I was trying to become healthier.
Hmm.
I mean, I would have, excess skin. I would have a body that looked unproportioned. You want to talk about body dysmorphia? Well, guess what? That's something I struggled with over the years. So what people would think of me back then was very judgmental, right? Not everyone, but yeah, people stared. People would say, you can't get in my car. You're not going to be able to fit in my car. People, I heard it all. I heard it all. But today, they see the before and after picture, right? And they're like, wow, that inspires them. It shocks them. And that's exactly where I'm at. I want to inspire, I want to shock them. I want them to see there's freedom that you can get out of this, right? So there's a lot of hope here. And I share my story to really influence people to not stay where they're at in life. So many of us are walking around lost. We know we feel like junk. We know we're not living up to our total standards where we should be living up to. We know that what we're doing when it comes to health, wellness, not moving, eating whatever we want, drinking whatever we
Mhm.
want, doing whatever we want, we know that's not giving us what we need. We
That's
know that's creating
true.
bad habits. We know that's creating our mindset to be negative, and we don't feel very good doing that, but we keep knocking on the same door. So I try to help people by showing my old picture, just say, I was that guy, but now I found the
Doesn't look
hope of
like.
finding now I'm a different guy.
Yeah, I know. That is so, the transformation is like amazing. Really amazing. And I don't know. I'm just trying to, because I was like, wow, I was showing my youngest son, I'm like, come and see. Like, oh my God, it's the same person. I said, this same person, that's what determination can do. And that's what discipline can bring up. So, and that's what not being stuck where you are. Because some other people will just want to stay where they are and remain there and say, no, it's not possible. There's no way. There's no way. And even if I do it, I'm going to have those excess flesh, and I don't think I want that, you know. But for health reasons, at times like this, you need to weigh all those options. And I'm glad you did. And today you actually sharing your story. So those people that didn't believe in you at that time will begin to want to hear from you. So, and that's where I'm going right now. So, I know you've shared your weight loss journey and this everything, but specifically, what are those strategies that worked for you? And how did you maintain? Let me put it up. How did you maintain your physical and mental being? you know, and what advice do you have for others who are struggling with weight related issues? Because I know for me, I've been trying to lose those weight. So just shared some. I tell my kids I want to take out like 40. When I get to 20, I'm relapsing, So, and I know a lot of persons are like me. We get to 20, 25, for, and we back to square one. So where do we start from? How did it work with you? What were those strategies you used?
Yeah, that's a really wow, that's a really impactful question. So there's so much I've learned over the course of years. I'm telling you, friends, I've been doing this thing for oh my goodness, it's been about 21 years. It'll be 21 years.
Mm,
And so I've been following this path of life and changing and doing what I have to do to get healthier. And I've done it well and I've done it not so well. I've done good things, I've done bad things. I've tried and experimented with so much, but if I can pinpoint an approach to life that works really well, it's simply a few things. Number one, you just have to stay committed to yourself. Number one, like there's a commitment level that has to come from you, right? You have to be bought in for your journey. You have to be bought in to do this 100%. If you're not, you got to treat it like it's your job. You're punching in, you're getting a paycheck. Punching out, you're getting paid for that, right? So it's kind of like that type of mentality. I got to do this. I have to show up every day, even when I don't want to. I have to do what I got to do to make sure it happens. So there has to be this drive and desire, but that doesn't come with you just kind of saying it. You have to have it in your heart and in your mind. You have to understand that the way I'm doing life, the way I'm living, I'm not happy. Instead of saying that I feel defeated, we have to say we're going to overcome this. Instead of saying that there's no way I can do this, we have to say there is a way I can do this. It might not look like this guy or that gal, but it's going to look like my best journey. So I think
that's
coming at this thing with commitment, with desire, with 100% sold out, all in mentality, commitment 100% is what's going to spark your interest. And you can really fan into flame that spark to make it a fire to help you become a healthier you. And you have to look at it this way too. And you got me like excited because I'm like, this question is really, it drives me. So when I see people, they start out, they're like, I don't know what I want. I don't know if I should. Like they're on the fence. You can't do that. A couple things happens when you're on the fence. Like you're gonna get something up your bum. That's not fun, right? Whoa, okay. You can't ride the fence. That's not fun. But you have to pick a side. You have to go one or the other. The side you're on right now isn't working. So why not try the other side? Why
hmm,
not go a different direction? Why not be tired, so sick and tired of who you are that there has to be another option? Because you have one life. You're given a gift. You're given a present. You're giving something that nobody that so other people might not have value in. But you have life. You should have a value system on your life. You should appreciate the gifts God has given you, and you should be able to utilize the body that He's given you and to the best of its ability. And so that means making the slight changes, making small changes at a time. So I would say that's a long answer, but I'll say commitment and all in mentality is first and foremost. Secondly, there has to be some accountability. There has to be some accountability. We have to have people in our lives willing to rub shoulders with us, willing to let them get up in our grill, willing to let them talk to us and pray for us and encourage us and call us out on our stuff. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to grow. We think this community of me, myself, and I is the community that we need. It's not. We have to have a community behind us, a tribe, a people group, whatever you want to call it, has to be around you. Friends that you can trust, that you can have confidants, right? That you can talk to and you can vent to. And you need just, hey, accountability questions. Hey guys, ask me these questions at the end of the day here and there. I need the accountability. And let them know too what your plan is, because you have to have a plan. You're committed, accountability, and a plan. What's it look like? Is it a one size fits all plan? Probably not. There are methods out there that we use and we see that help people, of course, but ultimately it comes down to what can you do in your life that's going to make the maximized results you're looking for. So what way of eating, what way of exercise, what way of self-talk, what way of whatever is going to help you get across that finish line. You can't just go around like this. If you go around like this, you're blind, right? You can't see. You can only feel your way through. But if you actually walk around with a vision, your perspective, what you're expecting, your steps, your process, your plan, you develop that, what's going to make it stick for you? Maybe it's going for a walk 3 days a week and you start out with that and you give up sugar. Maybe that's your first step, but you build on those small steps at a time to help you even get healthier from there, right? Like, so after the
Yeah.
sugar and the walking, okay, I mastered that. Now I'm actually going to incorporate vegetables and more proteins. So you start working on some new steps. So accountability is one I would call on. Commitment is another one I would call on, and have a game plan and stick to that. That's the triple threat for real change in your life.
Wow. That's awesome. Oh my God. Because I know a lot of people are like me. We are guilty. We don't just want to do it. We are not committed to this cause. We say it on lip service. Oh yeah, I'm on the journey. I'm on the journey. Seeing you today, I'm like, whoa, if he can and he could do it, then I should do it. I should be able to do it. So I'm so glad. So thank you so much. So the next one that takes me now to some mental health questions, um, and that is, how did you cope with anxiety and depression during your transformation? So, what self care practices did you practice like daily? And how do you handle setbacks and challenging emotions? I'm saying all this because I have some kids I know that are within that range, 14 to 18, that are really struggling with weight loss. And I think this is one thing that's really going to help them.
Yeah, that's good. I think culture will try to medicate everything. And I'm not against medications 100%. I believe that they have a place in our lives, of course, and there's time and places for them. But I don't think this should be the first line of defense against an issue. I think there's many happy medical doctors and whatever you want to call them that's pill happy or medication happy. And I would say, firstly, I did start with medications. I did start with 4 different medications for anxiety and depression. I remember how they messed up my mindset. They made me who I didn't want to be. I was down. I was mopey. Didn't have energy. This is a young man at 14, right? So, and they try to manage those medications by putting more milligrams to it, maybe less, switching different medications out for other ones. But I just didn't. I didn't feel much of a difference except just I couldn't be me. And I really feel like that actually encouraged weight gain as well over the years, or the year I was on them. But eventually I got off of them. And it was against doctors' wishes. And I'm not here to condone just getting off your medications without talking to your doctor. Please don't hear me say that, because that's not what I'm saying, but I'm sharing with you. I had to make a conscious decision. And I had to do my research, right? Like what are the natural approaches to to help myself get out of the anxiety? And so I'm equipped with the natural approaches that I've used, anything between prayer to alone time with myself, words of affirmation over my life. Those are big, big key steps. Your own voice, listening to the soothing of your own voice, memorizing scripture, going out into the sunlight in the morning, first light, having sunlight exposure to your skin, even if it's cold out, that's okay. Go out in a jacket on, just have your skin showing, or your hands and your face. Just let the sun hit you 15-20 minutes. I also believe in grounding when it comes to standing on the earth. God's given us this earth, and I believe that we were meant to touch the ground, okay? Work, right? On the ground here and there. And so touching the earth definitely has benefits. Getting out in nature has amazing benefits. Different supplements you can certainly try. I'm a huge fan of ashwagandha for some people. I think that works well for people to really help alleviate anxiety over a period of
What did
time.
you call it?
Ashwagandha,
Okay.
ashwagandha, yeah, the supplement there. But I always, start very slow on those things because that could drop your blood pressure for some people. Like I had lower blood pressure when I took it. It was still safe, but you could just have the readings go down a little bit on your blood pressure from taking it. But there's options. Even the foods we eat, right? So if you go to a more whole foods approach, it does some differences in your mind. Your brain chemistry is different from the foods that you consume. Exercising, I do an exercise session every day, 7 days a week. Once in a while, I'll take a day off, but I do that. And the reason is exercise is not just about physical health; it's about mental health, and that helps me really get beyond myself out of the way, and I can just let my mind go. I'll listen to music or podcasts. I'll listen to whatever when I'm walking or doing cardio sessions. And there's a dopamine effect that happens from doing exercises, right? And you get this runner's high, they call it, right? You ever hear of that terminology? But there's that, like, and church. I'm attending my church, which I love. Having support there and just worshiping the Lord through that. And then, of course, memorizing Bible verses, so important. I can go on. Like, there's tons of things that I think it just comes down to actually applying these principles, right? And finding hobbies, finding these principles and actually applying them consistently, because you want to rewire your brain. It's called neuroplasticity. There's been some studies on this, the rewiring of the brain, taking out the old thoughts so you think, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I guess I'm going to be on medication and feel this way the rest of my life. Versus now we have to rewire ourselves over a period of time by committing to our mindset to become better and rewriting our thought life. That's where we need to be. And those are the things that I've found to help me become a healthier person in my mindset, which I will share. When you become healthier in your mind, your body follows suit. It's amazing.
Wow, that's great. Because that's true. Because I remember, especially when I was battling with grief, I had a lot. If I couldn't really think straight, I couldn't do things straight. I couldn't even study. I couldn't do just a lot. But when I started managing my mind
Mm.
and understanding that, okay, I have control over this, everything started taking a different turn. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what everyone needs to understand. And that brings us to the level of grief. Because I wouldn't want to talk about this without talking about the grief you went through, you know, because I know how much it will have affected you along the way. So, how did you deal with those feelings? How did you deal with the feelings related to your old lifestyle and yourself? How did you deal with the feelings of how other people treated you? So, what was the role of forgiveness? How did you forgive these people in the process to
Yeah.
get to where you are right now? And how did you also honor the past? Are you managing the past and bringing it together? Because I know a lot of people, they want to throw the past away, but I'm so glad seeing your photo, putting it gladly behind you. So that means you are managing both of them together. So how are you doing this?
Yes. Man, I think human nature is I want to hold this all inside, right? I want to for men tend to hold their feelings. I'm always a feelings guy. I just my mom said, you have a lot of emotion. My wife sometimes says, Sometimes I wonder why you have so much emotion. I mean, I've gotten a lot better. I've healed over the years. But just letting things out and being able to have somebody to talk to, a counselor, is nice to have. Therapist, just to kind of bounce ideas off of, or bounce your heart, your mind off of. I think that's really important. You have to have an out. You got to be able to share. A confidant, friend. You just got to be able to. And I wouldn't just put it all in one friend, right? Because that could be really draining if you have a lot of stuff you just need to spew out. But there are important steps to take to really get those out. Having friends, having a counselor is where I would start, and that's what helped me over the years. And when it came down to getting rid of my old lifestyle and the thoughts that went behind it, that was a process. It wasn't overnight. I still saw myself as an 800-pound kid when I was like almost 200 pounds. I thought I would sit on a bed and break it. I thought I would, step on a chair or step on a platform and it bend, or sit on a chair and a leg would bend or something like that. I still believe that even at a smaller weight. So that's a prime example of having to really rewire your thought and really not stay there. You have to remind yourself, Justin, that's not you anymore, right? That's not you anymore. When it comes down to people who have doubted me in the past or made fun of me, I was bullied in school. I was looked at online and people thought that I was fat and all these different words, right? Um, you look at those people, and God gives us a really deep, sincere love for people when you get closer to Him. Like there's this Jesus said love your enemies, right? And I'm not saying I have enemies. I'm just saying, I mean, enemies is a pretty extreme word. But if He's told us or instructed us to love our enemies, how much more should we love those who maybe not our enemies, but just don't understand us or just are quick to judge, right? So I look at that and I'm like, if God can love me through my junk and the way I treat Him here and there, the way I just ignore Him, the way I sin with knowledge of sin, right? Knowing that what I'm doing is wrong. If He could love me through that and still accept me at the end of the day when I ask Him to forgive me and I really mean it, then I can do the same thing for people. And that's what drives me. Like, sure, I've had people I didn't care for too much over the years because they said some things, but I remember what that says in scripture. I remember the example Jesus set before me. And I remember what happens when you let things go, when you can forgive and work through the forgiveness. It's not a snap of a finger. I get it. Like, I'm not saying, those of you who have been through some stuff in life, I'm not saying that you can just get over it. Sorry, walk away. No, I'm saying you have to work through it. There's some rough things that happen, and there's sometimes justice needs to be served. I believe that 100%. But to stay in that spot it's going to wreck your life. It's going to destroy your life. It's going to keep you enslaved to you. And you have to be the one to say, I'm going to work through this. And forgiveness is going to be a choice. Forgiveness isn't always a feeling. I will share that with you. I can walk in a room and remember a person said some word against me, and I have a slight choice to make right there, right? Am I going to let this fester in my mind and suddenly develop feelings from it and negative feelings? Or am I going to say, okay, that happened. Bye. I'm not even good at time of day. Oh, cookie. I'm going to go have, like all of a sudden the squirrel moment, something else. Like, just shift your thought. And you have a choice to make in that moment. So that's what I would say. That's how I dealt with forgiveness, still do. Where I'm a married man and sometimes my wife offends me and I have to forgive her the next minute, right? And that's not always easy, but we do it. That's what we're called to do. Jesus says 70 times 7, which isn't the ultimate answer, but it's whatever. Forgive as many times as you can is what He's saying. So I'm in that camp. And how I move forward from everything is just simply saying that was yesterday. Today's a new day. Today's a new gift. Today's another opportunity. And we're just going to move forward and do our thing, because I don't have time to live in yesterday. I don't have time for that, because there's more people who need hope. There's more people. There's more Justin that needs to be developed. There's more people that need to hear Justin's story, or even others that come in contact with. You need to hear their story. And I can't do anything about that if I'm stuck in my past and can't get past that.
You are correct. Wow. Oh my God. This is mind blowing. Because, now I really want to thank that person who sent me that link. I really want to thank that. I'm blessed today I got that link, because I know a lot of people are being blessed right now. Right now, as I'm talking, I have my living room filled up listening. So thank you so much. And thank you so much. So did your transformation journey lead you to, I know you shared it, that led you to the spiritual awakening and shift that you got. And all through your journey, you've been talking about it. You've been talking about God, 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 and how it helped you in your journey. So, how did you view that concept of identity after your transformation? And what wisdom would you want to share with others who are finding purpose and meaning and not being able to understand the word identity? Because most times when you're in these shoes, it has to do with you go through identity grief, and it goes a long way in the person's life, and they don't know where to place themselves. They don't know where to place, okay, am I here, am I there, where do I stay, wow, should I go hide somewhere? So I think this is the right time to actually, I know a lot of persons are there, and especially young people, when they're growing up, they go through that transformation, and because they don't know how to really manage these situations. So how did your journey lead you to this spiritual awakening and shift?
Yeah, my I so when it came to faith, like I had to recognize in my life, you had to recognize at one point in your life you're lost, right? There's just you're trying to find your way. I mean, I went through so many phases in my life. I went through the emo phase. I went through the rapper phase. I went through I mean, all the white boys wanted to be Eminem back in the day. We all dyed our hair. We all did. Like that's just the thing, right? And I tried everything. I painted my nails like an emo goth rocker, and
Yeah.
tried to be black. I tried to be hillbilly. I mean, I tried it all. I tried it all. And
Yeah.
trying to, young man just trying to find his way, right? Like trying to speak the culture of whatever was going to listen to me. And I had to, I mean, I didn't recognize that so much at a young age, but I look back at that today and I'm like, man, I was just searching. I was just searching for acceptance. And it helps to know that you can be you and rock who you are and be the leader. That's what I love about like where I'm at today. God allows us to go through the past experiences and grow up as a kid and grow up as a teenager in a culture that's screaming all different words and sounds and different ways, right? And he's a still small voice in the head though that we want to make sure that we're staying consistent and foundation on, right? Like so
Yeah.
my stepson, man, there's going to be a lot of voices out there. He's 16, a lot of voices out there, right? And they're going to tell you this way's right, this way's right. But there's only one truth. And you can say, well, that's kind of narrow-minded. No, it's there's a simple way of doing things. Like God has called us into following his path, not to hurt us and to make us think, oh man, you're a killjoy, God. No, to protect us from the consequences of an unplanned pregnancy or a getting an overdose of a drug or like drinking too much alcohol, getting in a car crash. Like he's trying to alleviate those things from happening, but the world says they're fun. And I'm not gonna lie, things can be fun, right? I'm a man. I like having fun, but at the end of the day, things can hurt. Things have consequences. And so I had to recognize that later on, and God let me go through some things in my life, still lets me go through things in my life. But you recognize at the end, it's like, wow, there's a consequence to my action, good or bad, right? So
Yeah.
now I recognize that my spirituality today impacts my direction wherever I go in this life. I believe that God's sovereign, that he has a plan and purpose, and that he guides and directs our paths. I
That's
believe
true.
that I can seriously, like Jonah, try to run away, but he still chases after me, right? I
That's
believe
true.
all that. And I just view myself today as I'm just a vessel. I'm a vessel of hope to him, to the
Yeah.
world, and it changes my identity. Like it's no longer focused on Justin and who Justin is. It's who Jesus is through Justin. That's now what it looks like for me, and that's what changes my heart and my values, and that's what helps me lead other people. I see their value. I see their identity through them. When people don't, and they do it to me too. When I talk to somebody, I don't notice something about myself, but they can. And I want to do that for other people too, right? Like you really are. You ask challenging questions. You should be a lawyer, or things like that, right?
Yeah.
But what I would share with other people is this: it's number one, don't think you have all the answers and have to have it worked out right now. You don't.
You don't.
And there's a don't conform to what others want you to be. You need to look deep within yourself, pray, ask God who you are, ask Him who He is through you. Let Him develop who you are and partner with Him to do that, and you'll become the best version of you. I promise you that. And that'll give you purpose and that'll give you fulfillment in this life.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you so much, Justin. So, this is the last question I'm going to be asking. Then I will ask you to talk to Rose about how people can reach you. So, how do you wish people understood? Um, how do you wish people understood about your transformation, and how has your journey impacted your family, your friends, and also what's the most important lesson you've learned through your transformation?
Yeah, that's really good. So just know that this wasn't overnight. I think we live in a microwave culture that thinks everything has to be speedy,
Yeah.
where it's crock pot, to be honest. It's an all day marinade, right? It has to happen over a season. And so just know that my walk is my own unique journey, and it's taken me years to get
Hmm.
to this point. But there was always a milestone throughout these 20 some years that I've been doing this. There's always something that I developed in the bad, even there was something that developed that I learned from, right? I don't look at failures as losses. They're more lessons than anything else, right? And we're allowed to go through the lessons. We're allowed to go through the pain of those sometimes, and if we're willing to, we can grow from that. And so I just share that with you. Start your process. It's okay if you fall backwards. Just don't stay backwards. Get back up, move around, get up, move forward one way or another. Don't stay down forever, right? That's not where we want to be. But this is a process for you to get healthier, to get better, to get to a place in your mind where you can be healthier in your mind. Um, has my journey impacted my family and friends? Absolutely. There's people who look at me now and say, "You're an inspiration." All the time I hear that. Um, and that's really what I try to do, And of course, I help people if they're really willing to and they want some additional help beyond just a good story. I offer them help through coaching them through the process and mentoring them, right? And giving them resources needed to make sure that they're able to stand up underneath those temptations and work through them. And so, yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge inspiration to my community, to people in general. I don't boast on that. I just simply say, look at my story, look at what God did in my life, and you can have the same story. I don't care if it's 5 pounds, like doesn't matter. You can have the same story. You can have a triumphant story, right? A triumphant story that says, look what God's brought me through. Look at the hard work has paid off. Right? You can have the fruit of your labor, if you will. And the question you asked too, what's the most important lesson you've learned throughout your transformation? Have patience and be willing to learn. Have patience, be willing to learn. And
Hmm.
those go a long way, because don't think you know it all. I think we come at this thing as if we come at this thing in a humble posture, we receive better and we notice more growth that way. If you come at this thing with a posture of, I got this, pride, arrogance, don't worry, don't talk to me like that. I know my answers. I know everything. Then you're going to have a hard time changing your life, because if you can't let somebody knock on your door and let them in a little bit, you're not going to have success in your life. You're going to stay stuck where you're at. It
Hmm.
takes more than just you. So, yeah, patience is a huge contributing factor. And of course, being willing to learn and have a posture of humility, that goes a long way.
Wow. It takes more than just you. That's true. It takes more than just you to get things done. So, based on that, now we've heard it from him. It takes more than just you to get this transformation done. So, you need to contact Justin. So, Justin, how can people reach you?
Yeah.
And what do you do how will you help them in this
There's
journey?
several, yeah, there's several offers that I give people. First off, I'm always willing to connect with people. You can see that I have a Facebook group. I have a Facebook itself where you can just type in my name. I'm a lucky one that got my name on my address there. So you can go to facebook.com/Justin Willoughby. Just simply send me a message. I'll equip you with whatever you need, the best answer fit for you to help you become better. I have a podcast that I put out there called 600 Pounds Down, based off my story. We have stories on there of people overcoming obstacles in their lives. Similar here, right? What Ruth's doing here, pretty amazing stuff, right? And we're all in this together, and we're helping each other and high-fiving each other through the process, right? Just changing lives, what we do. It's what we love to do. We're networking like that. So the podcast 600 Pounds Down is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can always check that out. But yeah, those are two avenues you can get in contact with who I am. My email, Justin799 Willoughby. 799 comes from my top weight. It's Justin799Willoughby at gmail.com. And you can simply write to me, and I can hook you up with whatever you need. If it's just somebody to talk to, I'm your guy, right? If somebody you need
Yeah.
tips, I'm your guy, right? We'll make it work for you. So that's how you can find me.
Yeah. What about your book?
Yeah, I have a couple different books out right now, but my number one, my recent release, and I need to update the cover. It's kind of can look a little 1940 or something, but it's called Made in His Image. Made in His Image, and it's discussing the the mentality behind body image, right? Like how we view ourselves. And it talks about how I've gone through this journey, and I was like, man, I don't like what I look like. I'm insecure about myself. And I found ways, there's step-by-step process in here on how to get past that, how to accept yourself, not for who you are exactly. Because sometimes we accept ourselves and think, oh, this is what God made me to be. And that's not always the case. You recognize where you're at right now, and you just ask God to work through this with you to become the best you, right? And we acknowledge where we're at, we take ownership of where we're at, and then we move forward. So this is a book all about transforming your life, putting yourself in the shoes of being made in the image of God and not the image of yourself. Because insecurities leave when you find your true identity, right? So the book's on body image, the book's on insecurities, and it helps you identify what steps are needed for you to become healthier in your mind, body, and spirit.
Wow. So if you're passing through like identity grief, then you need to get that book because you're made in his image. So thank you so much, Justin, for joining us today. Thank you for all that you do for your community. Thank you for all that you do in the world. Thank you for being a great person that you have become and not allowing situations weigh you down in all that you went through. Yes, I'm very particular about it because I meet people every day who go through these things, and most of the time, what they talk about is identity. When you bring out everything they're going through, all you can fathom from it is identity. They're just going through some identity grief. They don't know where to place themselves. They're having some low self-esteem and all sorts. So, because of so many things that have happened in the past, like bullying and abuses and other stuff, and it has brought them so low in the process. So please don't allow yourself to be brought so low. I remember when I was much younger, my own identity grief was my voice. you know, I have a very loud voice. And then everyone used to say, oh, when I want to sing, they tell you, keep quiet. It's too loud. You can't sing with us. And it made me have a lot of grief within. So I couldn't sing with people for a long time, up to, I think, even up to the age of 20, 21. you know. And one day I got a job and we had to do something. Well, I'm putting up this story because it comes in different forms. And they said they needed someone to sing. And I do a lot of composing and so many other stuff. And I have a very high pitch. And I took that song and everyone was marveled. I wrote the song, I composed it, and we took the song and I took the pitch. And they were like, whoa, where's your voice? Why are you hiding it? And that was the break for me. So when anyone comes to me and they're like, you sing, why are you singing like that? It's too loud. I tell them, no, you don't know. You don't understand because you're not in my class, so you don't understand what value my voice has. And that was it. And today I have 9 songs to my credit, personally to mine. And I'm a worship leader and I do a lot. And I sing in so many places. I go to churches, I minister and I song. But if I had allowed it weigh me down, I wouldn't have been able to be who I am today. So please don't allow that grief hold you down. Don't be stuck in it. Grief is not all about losing someone. There are a lot of things we go through, and at the end of it all, we don't know why we're not progressing in our lives. So, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm really so um, glad and I'm honored to have you today on Grief to Grace. And thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, everyone that has listened to us today. And I'm not going to leave you like that without giving you the three nuggets that I got from Justin's um, talk today. And those are those things I was able to personally get in his journey. And those three things are that we must, no matter what, no matter how impossible your situation feels, know that if you continue pushing, there is always hope. And secondly, remember that true healing comes when you address not the physical but the emotional and the spiritual part of your situation. So when you understand the emotional and the spiritual part of what you carry, then you'll be able to receive true healing. And lastly, know that your story can inspire others to make life-changing decisions. And that is why, on that note, I'm imploring you to share your story on Grief to Grace. And the only way you can do that is to share your story on Grief to Grace now uh, at gmail.com. So when you go right there, send us an email and we will send you the link, or you go to the website at greattograce.international.org. It's going to be updated and finally out, like I said, this weekend. Everything will be finally up and you'll be able to get on our website. So I'm really so excited to have you today, mm, especially you that keep joining us on Grief to Grace. I'm super excited to have you every day. I'm super excited to that you keep sending messages on how it's helping you. And don't forget to get our book, because why I keep talking about this book is because this is the only way we can um, we can support Grief to Grace. To keep this podcast going and keep all the good work we do, this is all we do. So when you support and get a copy of this book or get for your people or anybody that needs it, then you have also helped someone who is grieving, because we help the grieving family through this means. So thank you for joining us, and if you want to know how you can support us, you can send me an email or you go to our website and you will definitely see how you can support us. We have a lot of projects going on Grief to Grace, on Echoes of Life, everywhere, and you can be part of it, especially those of you going through cancer and don't know what to do and how to navigate it. We have Echoes of Life and we have support system there. And if you're going through grief in any way, we have a grief buddy here on Grief to Grace, and we come together and we help each other. So thank you for joining us today. And please don't forget to share, to like, and to tell someone about Grief to Grace International. We can only do this when we work together. So thank you, and we love you. Thank you, Justin, for coming up today. Your testimony is really powerful. Your story is a living example of what it means to transform grief into grace. And now, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, I will want to pray for you that God will continue to keep and sustain you and use you as an instrument to lift the world forward. And I want to pray for everyone listening today, because God gave me this vision and He said, I didn't send you to those who are well. I am sending you to those who are not well, the sick in mind, those who do not know me, those who have missed their way. In whatever way that you've missed your way, remember that there is a God who listens. Just is so close to you. And as you reach out to him, may he answer you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone. And till we meet again in the next episode. I love you. And you have one last word.
Yes. Yes, I do. And then what you just shared is pretty remarkable. The prayer for others, and I would just say I second you on that. It's like you can have that opportunity no matter where you're at. You can be on an airplane, be in a submarine, you can be on the other side of the world, doesn't matter where you're at. But he knows you, he loves you, and wants a relationship with you to where you can become somebody you're supposed to be through him, right? Stop trying to figure it out yourself and start letting him grab your hand and guiding you to who you're supposed to be. I love this. So great job, Ruth. Thank you so much. This has been an incredible episode, incredible podcast that you do. And my prayer and hope is that it impacts people's lives in
Amen.
real big ways.
Thank you for joining us again today. I want to say thank you and have a very blessed day. Bye.